Going to go into a risk management conversation for anybody that's still dealing with overtrading, oversizing. You have to understand that you need to set a maximum daily loss limit for yourself. Okay. And it needs to be adhered to. That's the first thing. Second thing is if you're incapable of adhering to that daily loss limit, next step is to put proactive approaches in place to limit that risk. For example, lock yourself out of the account once you hit a limit. Okay? Or delete the apps off of your phone so you have no more access to it. Seriously, the respect that you give your risk management is going to be shown in your results. So if you're not going to take your risk management seriously, then it's going to be very hard to make progress in this business. In my opinion, you should divide your drawdown by 10, right? Whatever your maximum loss limit is, divide that by 10. Use that as a daily loss limit. Okay? That way, even when you have a horrible day, you have to have at least 10 horrible days in a row to actually blow up the account. And that itself will be progress for all those individuals that are instantly blowing their accounts the day that they get them. You're at least making it 10 days. Okay? You got to give yourself multiple opportunities, because the fact of the matter is you're going to have wins, you're going to have losses. Losing in this business is inevitable. So we have to figure out, as risk managers, the best way to lose. How do you put the odds in your favor when you know that you're going to lose half of the time, maybe even majority of the time? Because a realistic win rate is going to be, 40%, 50%, 60%. If you come in here thinking that you're going to have a 80% win rate, 90% win rate, especially as a beginner, that's, in my opinion, very unrealistic. Okay, so if we know that we're going to lose half the time, how do we ensure the fact that we still make progress in our accounts? Starts with that maximum daily loss limit. That's the first thing. Once you understand what a loss is, then you can understand what a win is. Okay, so now I'm going to use random numbers. You obviously have to fit this to your account. We're all trading different accounts. We all have different drawdown limits, but the fundamentals remain the same. Divide your drawdown by 10. That should be your maximum daily loss limit. Make sure that you have risk measurements in place to adhere to that daily loss limit. Let's use the number 500. If 500 is your daily loss limit, then you know what is a good loss and a bad loss, right? If you're losing $1,000, if you're losing $2,000, if you're blowing up the account in 1 day or 1 hour or one open, you know that's a horrible loss and you shouldn't be doing it because it's more than $500. Okay, so you know when you're stepping outside of your process versus when you're completing the process correctly, because that's the important part here that the conversation is going to end on, is that we need to fall in love with the process and allow the results to be a byproduct of it. Once you understand what a loss is, that also helps you understand what a win is. Okay, if we know that we need a 1 to 2 risk to reward because we have a 50% win rate, we also know that our losses are $500. That means we need our wins to be $1,000 or more. We need to focus on having 2R as our risk to reward. Okay, so during the time of management, you need to understand that, because price fluctuating, that's going to induce emotions that are going to take you away from risk management, right? You're going to see the number go up plus $100. You're going to see it go down minus $100. Then you're going to be like, oh, if this thing comes out, if this thing goes green again, I'm not going to let it go red again. I'll protect myself. No, don't, in my opinion, don't move it to break even. Don't allow price fluctuations to induce emotions, because you need to focus on getting that plus $1,000 winner, not a break even trade. we need to focus on risk management. So control the thoughts, control the emotions to allow the probabilities to play out so you can focus on having large winners. Now that we know what a loss is, now we could understand what a good win is, a bad win, a phenomenal win, right? If your wins are only $100, that's a bad win because your risk is $500, right? So it only takes one loss to ruin your progress. That's a bad win. A good win would be a plus $1,000. That means when you have a win, that'll make progress there. That'll get rid of 2 losses instantaneously. But your actions need to align with that. Your emotional intelligence needs to align with that. You have to allow price to fluctuate until you get to that 2R. Price is not going to move in one direct line. It's not just going to do what you want it to do. You have to be emotionally and mentally controlled enough to allow price to go to 2R. Okay. Now, even if you want to be greedy, you still have to choose risk management over being greedy. So what I'm trying to say here is, let's say the position did go plus 2R. Let's say the position is now floating a positive P&L of plus $1,000. Lock in the 2R by throwing a stop loss in at plus 2R. That way you're choosing risk management over being greedy. You're confirming the fact that you will minimally get 2R. And then you're allowed to be greedy to try to reach for 3R, 4R, 5R to have a phenomenal winner. Right? Now we know what a bad winner is, a good winner, and a phenomenal one. We need to make sure our actions align with that. We need to at least be looking for 2R. And if you have any type of emotion of being greedy, at least confirm the 2R. Because the reality of the scenario is the large wins are what makes progress in accounts. And I've shown my statistics on the live account throughout my entire time being in the live account. The large wins is what did the heavy lifting. Wasn't the win rate. Because it was a 50% win rate. It was you lost some, you win some. You lost some, you win some. It goes back and forth. But the time you have a large loss, that's when you make the progress in the account. Excuse me, the large win.